What's up, H-Town and all around? OSG here tonight in the Foxtrot studios. Tonight we're going to discuss a little bit different. This is going to be Dash only. We're going to discuss the Dash roster and who's going to be returning next year and kind of some things that we should do or how we think the direction of the team should go. But first, let me introduce you to the group of people that is here in the studio with me. And as always, it is Dynamic Foxtrot, who rumors have it is Diesel. Andres, what's going on, bro?
That's me, man. Well, they don't want the closer one admit it. But yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Man. Of course, off-season mode kind of sad. There's no more soccer, but it is what it is.
Hey, on our side of the market, off-season means you're just sitting there waiting. But also with us tonight to discuss all these Dash players and what's going to go on in this off-season is DFTV. Welcome in, brother. A rumor has it you're the guy that took the photo revealing Andres as Diesel.
No.
All right. It's all good, brother. All right, man. Well, hey, let's hop straight into it, and we're going to start off pretty easy. We're going to run through the roster. We're going to tell you the players that are returning, that are definitely returning, and we've got some free agents here. Do we re-sign them? Do we let them go? That's up to you. You are the coach. But you know what? Let's just get started with the keepers, man. And first, I'm going to play a little video here. Obviously, Jane Campbell is the spotlight of the Houston Dash, returning to the team, signing an extension of 4 years. I highlighted Heather Hinz right here. Recent news, she was just loaned out for 3 months to the Fort Lauderdale FC of I guess it's the USL Super League or whatever. I'm not sure exactly what league it is precisely, but she was loaned out for 3 months until the preseason starts for the Dash. So she's going to go out and get some extra training. But we'll start back at the top with Jane Campbell, Miss USA, Miss Dash, everything. Signed for 4 years. Obviously, is going to be our keeper of the future and just take the helm in the back and continue making records. Hopefully, it'll be less save records and more win records. Oh, man.
Yep, no objection there.
Right. Goalkeepers is going to be kind of easy, man. So, Jorge, I'll go with you. We just talked about how the Hens was loaned out to Fort Lauderdale FC. Obviously, to me, that's a great move. She's obviously got nothing else to do. She's going straight out for 3 months. She's already played in a game, already became a factor. The team ended up drawing 1-1. She made a crucial save right before the end of the first half there. Fort Lauderdale scored an extra time to 1-1 to save this game. But Heather Hinz, man, as a backup for the future for this team, well, I don't know about how the future, Campbell's 4 years, but just a legitimate backup for now.
Oh yeah, I saw that news, and you don't really, I can't really think of one where like they go loan out, which I mean, the NWSL is kind of odd with the scheduling as well, and it's good for Heather to be going out on loan and getting more training. It's good that it wasn't just we're gonna waive you and you're out, and then but no, she's a great keeper for what she's shown, and she's stepped up in moments. Debuting against Tigres Femenil, the women's, if I'm not mistaken, that was her debut, and then the win against Pachuca women's as well. And like I said, when she's had to step up, it's been crucial games.
And obviously, she's going to be a necessity next season. Jane Campbell will play every single game as long as she's available, but international duty might come into play again next season. So we'll see how many times Jane Campbell gets called up during the season where we actually have a game. New coach may say, hey, Campbell, you can take a break. You played 5 games straight. Let's let Heather get a game in or something like that. You never know what's going to go. So I'm okay with this, with Heather Hinz sticking around and being the backup to Jane Campbell. It's a nice backup. I like her agility and her ability. She does make some saves, but she's still raw and you can still see it. So she's got some things to work on. But this is a great opportunity for her going to Fort Lauderdale FC. All right, Foxtrot. Andres, Erin McKinney is a keeper that is a free agent, so she does have either has to be negotiated into a new contract or we have to look elsewhere for a third keeper. What do you do in this situation here?
She might just go elsewhere because it's pretty tough to retain a third string goalkeeper, assuming that Heather's is going to be the second one, since, of course, we saw her playing the last game, and there's a good chance we're going to see her be the second string at that point. And yeah, like it's just a matter of if she's willing to stay and earn her opportunity to play in the games we have to rotate out, or just move somewhere else that there's a good opportunity. So it's up in the air.
DFTV?
Yeah, phone with Andres. These it's unfortunate, but these women come and go with the way that
Yeah.
the Dash especially have just signed free agents or loan. Later in the season, towards the end, if I'm not mistaken, they signed somebody from the Dallas women's squad.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
with all those injuries, it's like the business is crazier on the women's side than the men's side.
Well, it's so you never know what you can do. McKinney may stick around. You don't know if she has options out there to look around. And then like you said, there is other options where the Dash can go out and find a third string keeper or just pull one out of emergency mode if needed, and maybe they just stick around with two. And you also don't know what this new coach comes in and what his thoughts are. He may want that third keeper, and even if that keeper never sees the field of day. All right, let's move on to defenders, and defenders. I'm gonna start each position with a highlight player that is going to be a focus for me next year. I'll explain why later, so you don't make big faces like what? No, I'm just kidding. And then we'll run through the players, man. But it's not obviously the one that needed to be
I know
placed.
Heather Haynes is a great defender. Yeah, we're gonna see her back.
I think she's going to be key. I think she's going to be a key player and a key addition. So we'll go ahead and start with her since I highlighted her. And I highlighted her because I think she's going to come back strong. She was a great player to begin with, and I trusted her on the back line. You have Tarsi back there as well. I don't know her workout. I don't know her fitness and her return coming back from a pregnancy and having a kid, but I'm going to trust. This is her final year in her contract for 2025 as well. So, Jorge, I'll start with you, and then Andres, you want to follow up, man. What do y'all think of Katie Lynn returning to the team next year and being you fill in the blank?
No, yeah, she is a key player. It it's not great to see a key player miss, but it's also life, right? Um, she's a brick wall, and yeah, she would be great to see uh, with partnering up with Tarsian. But it's also great to see like Natalie Jacobs get to play and know that she can fill in those shoes as well as much as she can, right? But definitely a key player.
100. Andres, how you feel about Katie Lynn, formerly Katie Naughton, for those that don't remember, she got married.
Honestly, it's massive, and everyone that's been following on the Dash knew that missing her for the entire year is going to be very disappointing, of course, with a new head coach coming in, which didn't work out, unfortunately. But, of course, it's definitely amazing that she was able to take some time off to start raising her family, because it's obviously a big part of life. But so coming back, of course, we did have a lot of players cover for her to an extent, because we did have, as George just mentioned, Natalie Jacobs, Julissa Harris, and of course Tarsiane coming in. So there's a lot of players we can definitely, or she can definitely, like, swap in and out, like, over the course of the year. But having her back is big, especially for when it comes to experience and just trying to be that leader that we saw last year, or the year before last year.
Right. key and crucial. So we'll see. Only time will tell. New coach, in the preseason. Only time will tell, like we said. But y'all mentioned Tarsi. Tarsi is here till 2027, and I believe whatever coach comes in, is she's going to be a center back, depending whether it's a 3 back or a 4 back, depending on what the coach decides to do with. But I believe she'll be sitting in the center. Either way, she'll be on that back line and be back there for quite a while. Andres, why don't you roll with this one first, and then Jorge follow up.
No, honestly, like we do have we talked about this in the last episode, but we do have some players we definitely have to keep. And defensively speaking, like we do have a good starting line. Of course, we had the best defense in the league before this year, and it kind of turned up its head this year because of course, a lot of players missing, a lot of injuries and all that. But it's just great that we're gonna have them back. Like at this point, it's just a matter of of course the coach that is going to establish a game plan and see if we can just take advantage of the strengths that really gave a lot of success to this team.
Absolutely, yeah. Jorge, follow up with that one.
Yeah, Tarsian was a great signing. And just knowing the player that she can be, hopefully will be, getting to represent her national squad, Brazil, being highly ranked in the Ballon d'Or, in the women's Ballon d'Or, I think, 23rd, 25th.
Yep, 23rd.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's really impressive, and it just shows the quality that this team can have and attracts.
Yeah, that's something special. That's something that Jessica has, I think, expanded across the globe, looking for players. Like you said, Tarsian, Bachmann, Puttengam, Rubenson. I mean, you just Sweden, Switzerland. Geez, you're just naming countries left and right. All right, I'm gonna start rolling through these a little bit more. Please give your comment on these players as you feel free. But Paige Nielsen is also signed through 2027 as well, and I think she's going to be an absolute beast. She prefers playing on the right side. She was forced to play on the left a little bit this year, so depending on what this coach wants to do with her, I love the way she plays. I love what she does back there. She may be 5'0", but she's got a lot of heart and a lot of passion. Jorge, why don't you start with her?
No, yeah, it's the defense is solid, right? Anybody can fill in, right? And we got to see that, like mentioned earlier, right? But it's just going to be great to see that you've got options, and hopefully, you can continue like that for this next season. Like you said, depending who the coach is, and like how you mentioned, whether they go 3 back or 5 back or 4 back, that they're all key players, and be able to fill in.
Another key player you previously mentioned was Natalie Jacobs. Andreas, where does Jacobs for me fits in? I think on whatever side Nielsen's not going to play it, because I believe Lynn is going to be the starting center back. They're going to play with 4 backs is what I'm hoping for. Now, obviously, we don't know nothing. There's no coach yet, not even a GM. But I would like to see 4 backs. I'd like to see Jacobs and Nielsen on the sides right now because that's kind of our options with Lind and Tarsi in the middle. Jacobs, Lind, and Tarsi could be a rotation kind of thing, but you want Tarsi playing every game. You don't know Lynn's fitness. You don't know if she's ready to play back. But you don't have a lot of options there with the dash as well. So, Andreas, Natalie Jacobs. And she's here for a while as well.
No,
so,
yeah, I was just gonna say that my early guess, assuming that I'm the head coach, is just gonna be that she's gonna be starting on pretty much like you said. She's just gonna be like starting on the other side where Paige Nielsen isn't. And granted, we do have some players we can keep an eye on. Like of course, when we're talking about the return of Keegan and Sam potentially, and seeing what the coach is gonna do, we'll see how that goes. But I feel like she's going to have the best opportunity to start, mainly because she's been playing a lot more games.
Right. So, Jorge, Jalissa Harris, to what I've discovered is her contract is out and she's a free agent. So, unless I missed, do we re-sign her or let her go, or is she actually under contract? But I'm showing that she's a free agent.
No, yeah, Jalissa Harris is a great player. It's a lot of filling in, unfortunately, right?
Yeah.
But no, yeah, Jalissa Harris, a great player. I think you can keep her for not just for the vibe that she brings, because she's an alum um, from South Carolina with like Ryan Garris and Heather Hens, right?
Right.
So those three players have known each other for a while, and anytime you see the Dash players post on social media, they're all having fun, and that's if you want to create or keep that culture, definitely you'd want to keep her.
JY is definitely not shy. She's big on social, just like Ryan Gary was when she came first on the team. So South Carolina mentality right there, Gamecock mentality. Heather Hens as well. She's definitely not shy, and so I like that. I hope they do re-sign her, and she's somebody that could be a rotation in that center back. But you saw she's versatile, so she could play on that left back as well, right back. I mean, she even played forward for like 5 minutes at the end of one game during in one of those last games. So she's out there, she's trying, and she's giving it her all. So I hope they re-sign her. But that's I guess they're saving and waiting. You can't go sign everybody back when you don't have a GM and coach yet, and when you've already signed like 5 players. So all right. Andres Asan, who we did not see at all this year as a free agent. Sign or just let her fly off into the wind?
Bye.
Bye.
Not nothing against it really, but it's just the nature of the business. We are a team that is struggling and need all the players that fit
Yep.
best. And since we don't have a GM or a head coach, it's just smart to start fresh. So, yep.
All right, I'm gonna give you another easy one. Well, I'm sorry, that's disrespectful to say an easy one. All right, Jorge, Croy Soto is a free agent. Didn't see a
No, I
second of
mean,
her either as well. So
yeah, there's a lot of players that unfortunately it might just be to fill in a roster. But, I think, like you said, the
right,
GM. I think as of right now, I don't know if they're still getting assistance from was it Orlando Pride's GM? Right.
right.
It's
Yep.
very tough and no coach, and yeah, it's correct. You don't want to sign players without a coach presenting a project.
Yeah, and then quickly we have one more on defenders. New GM, new coach. You obviously we need to bring and finishing in last place in the NWSL. You need to bring in some experience. So those players that are sitting on the bench that don't get to see minutes are just wasting space. To me, in my idea, you need to get the value out of them that you can and utilize these players. You didn't use them in. Maybe for a few seconds in the Leagues Cup, whatever the cup, or just call it the Leagues Cup, because that's kind of exactly what it is. But so yeah, let them go. Let them both go. All right, I'm gonna let you both decide on this. I'm gonna let y'all both go first. But Andres, there's Alyssa Chapman that is a free agent, and we saw her return back for the final 6-7 games, and I saw a little gradual change. But Alyssa Chapman,
Go for it. And if we're bringing back a lot of these players, and assuming that we don't really have another player that could cover her role, William as a starter, we're just gonna give her a shot again. And even then, if we're able to manage to sign her and also like someone else that can start over, someone fresh, it's just good to have her on the bench too. Whenever we have to rotate, so it's I think they should go for it, like keep her and try someone else if possible.
all right, pen to paper. Jorge, do you agree?
No, yeah, I mean, a gold medalist. Uh, Alyssa Chapman is a great player, and she's very gritty. No matter the height, right? Like she'll put up a fight, and you definitely have to keep her.
And the gradual growth I mentioned was in a good regard. The needle was going up. For obviously, when you come back from a pregnancy and you start, and you're not expected much from. But she didn't provide much at first, and she kind of like, oh man, this is going to be tough for her to finish out this season. But as the final few games came back, you just saw this pace come out of her and this grit as well, where she started becoming Paige Nielsen, and you had both of them on each side of the field. You're like, saw a slide tackle and was like, oh Paige, oh wait, that's Alyssa. Dang, you see. I like what she was doing and her growth. I think she got fit maybe not fit, physique wise, but she got fit in soccer wise and was able to get into the game. And I think she would be a good signing to continue on here and be a good backup and even, get starts in there because Paige and Chapman on one side, Jacobs kind of gets concussions a lot and hurt, or you might just have an injury. So she'd be good to have. And like you said, I trust in the scouting network for the Dash. They can go out and find players and look for players. So whatever we are missing and don't sign, we're going to go out and get somebody in. But I agree with y'all. I would definitely bring in, an Alyssa Chapman. So as we move on to the midfield again, I'm going to, target a key player. And I hope this key player is here for this next season.
Oh, shit. She appeared.
So I featured her. I'm leery to see if she's going to return to the team this season just because of the way it went with her for this season and didn't play much. The very last game of the season, she didn't even see a minute. She was warming up with the team, but she flew back, sat the bench, and then literally flew out the very next day back to Europe, but to her home to enjoy her off season. So there may be something brewing in the off season to where she gets sold or whatever. But I think she's a key player. She returns. She's still under contract, and I would love to see her full time, full force on this team. Jorge, Ramona Bachman.
No, yeah, Bachman also another gritty player, right? I think that European mentality of the game is what helps out a lot, and I think that's what drives her to want to hit the back of the net or help out the team with an assist. But no, yeah, definitely Bachman is a great player, and you got to see some flashy moments of her as well.
Andres, what do you think of Ramona? Is she going to be here?
If she wants to be here, I will be happy to keep her because I've said it like whenever we signed her over and she played the first few games, she was playing very well with the Dash early on, and I was hoping for her to keep playing. But for some reason, like in the final third of the season, she was just like in and out. Obviously, not just because of the international break; it's perfectly understandable. She had to like leave a little bit early, but the last three games, like she's coming back. We want her to see her play. There's nothing wrong with her, but she's just like either sitting out or just sitting on bench. Excuse absences for some reason. So it's kind of like what's going on. So I mean, if it's cool if you don't want to be here, so we're just gonna have to get rid of you. But still, like it'll be a bigger loss if they're not able to find someone to cover. But I hope if she wants to play, I hope she stays here.
Obviously, she's homesick and she risked her marriage with her wife, and she mentioned this publicly. But hopefully, it's working out. They're at home right now, enjoying it, according to her Instagram. So hopefully, this is a good off season, and she, comes back to use, and she's under contract for 2 more years. So hopefully, her little time here was enough to say, all right, come on, let's go back and let's run it. I understand the coach situation, which was absolutely ridiculous with Fran Alonso this season. That's a friggin' joke, and then everything else that happens in the season. So, whatever, Bachman just probably had her choices, and she probably played a little bit of a gold card here. But as we move on, man, there's still players that are signed under contract. So I'll start with you, Jorge, on this one as well. And it's Sophie Schmidt, signed till 2026, 2 more years. She's done with Canada, so there's no international duty interfering. But we have her for 2 more years.
No, yeah, Sophie Schmidt, a solid player. Definitely can give a lot of advice to the up and coming women in the sport, and whoever might be her backup with injuries or God forbid wants or wishes that upon a player, right? But another gold medalist, another international player that's proven her game, and especially a vet here at the Dash. Great player.
Absolutely. And Andreas, moving on to Sarah Puntingham, who's here for another 2 years as well, who's been her side partner with Sophie Smith this year. Your idea with Sarah Puntingham.
For me, it's just been like an up and down season. There's been plenty of highs, especially whenever she came over early in the year. But I just feel like over the course of the season, she was just somewhat inconsistent. And granted, she's been missing some games because of injury and all that, or just international play. So it's still, I just hope she's able to stay. Obviously, she's able to grow. And an important aspect that you pointed out that I just didn't mention is the fact that, of course, not having a head coach for more than half the season, it's a big deal. And it's a variable that affects all the players. So it's something that I have to consider. And I should point out because I feel I feel like everything I said so far is kind of harsh on the players, but it's the truth. So we have to consider that. And yeah, like it's just something that like hopefully for next year sorted out, especially when it comes to a team believing in the coach and the project.
Yeah, of course, and we just gotta, see what's going on. But I like those two back there. So Jorge, I'm going to move on to another one that's here for 2 more years, and we didn't get to see much of this year, but at the beginning she played, and then she's kind of been hurt the rest of the season, which is Elle Rubinson. And I honestly, I like her. I like the way she plays, but didn't get playing time. But Elle Rubinson.
No, yeah, I think the midfield is kind of tough as well, but I don't know. You know, most of these answers are going to be it depends on who the coach is, right?
Well, you're the
Yeah,
coach
it
right
really
now.
depends on the head coach, honestly. But
For this episode, you're both the coach right now. And what you're going to do, I mean, Rubinson's here for 2 years. I mean, give me your thoughts on the coach from a coach's perspective of this player. Is this player helping the team? What you thought about what she did this season as we move on through other players as well. Is this player going to be helpful, a key player, just a minimal player, a role player, a starter, potential starter? I don't know. What could you do?
Yeah,
So
I think
there's a lot of options. Sorry, I should have been a little more clear as we go through all these players and talk about them and discuss them a little bit more, so we get some more context. So guys listening and watching this show right now, that's my fault. Host failed again. Oh, damn it! Shoot OSG in the foot. That's all right. I give everybody a hard time. I got to give myself a hard time as well. But so yeah, we'll go back to it. And Elle Rubinson, I think you got an answer now.
yeah, I think a role player, right? Just when it comes down to injuries, but other than that, I mean, you've got other players that you're about to mention.
Yeah, of course, and I like her offensive styles. Sophie Schmidt's kind of getting it to that age, but she's still friggin' gritty. And I'm surprised she doesn't get hurt. Which Jesus Christ, I mean, that girl's just a friggin' beast. But uh, Rubinson could be a great rotating piece with Puttingham and Smith, because Puttingham's more defensive. Smith's supposed to be defensive, but, you were like an offensive seat, 8 and an actual 6 in there. But, you never know. So, like you said, role player, I'm going to agree with you right there. So, Andres, I know you like this one. This is a newcomer. We've got her for 2 more years. We didn't get to see but an inkling of a few minutes. And, Ori, I'll let you follow up on him because this is such a new player. We're still introducing her to fans and to Dash fans and to our listeners, but it's Zoe Matthews. Zoe Matthews, 17-year-old Zoe Matthews, I believe is Jamaica, right? Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
honestly, she like extremely exciting prospect, and looking forward to see her play more often. And I know for a fact she's gonna get more playing opportunities heading into next year. So of course, still young, but whenever you see her on the field and the games that I've seen like in person, it's just like insane the height difference and how she's able to cover ground. So I hope to see more of her. Like only because we've only been able to see her a few times, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
No, yeah, only 17 is impressive. You know, outfits get younger and younger. Well, the younger they sign, right? Um,
Yeah.
an exciting prospect, and then to step into the squad and then get playing time over some others, it's pretty impressive.
That have
So
been sitting there on the bench, too.
hopefully we do get to see her some more next year. And she's already gotten a feel of the league.
I think y'all both right. She's going to get some time. She's going to get some minutes. She's highly touted. She did get on the field for a few minutes. Her physique, her build, her game, just for her age and the way she's playing. So obviously she'll be somebody that comes off the bench and just provides a spark maybe at the end of the game. So we'll see what her role technically is later on down the road. All right, man. So I got a huge one for you, Andres. This one was an option year. I have not seen the Dash approve this option year yet. I may be wrong, but they did tell her happy birthday yesterday. So I'm assuming that they're still connected to her. Jorge, you can tell me if you know something on the side. I hadn't seen the option being approved or denied yet, but Andresa.
I think having her back next year will be good. Of course, there were a few things that happened over the course of the year, especially how she's been like in games, she's been losing her head a little bit. And you've probably seen it whenever she's like complaining at the referees and all that. But she's just very passionate, and we kind of need that in the team right now because she's one of those players that's
She's
very dedicated.
she's not
Like
spitting or
absolutely,
kicking.
just no, yeah. But like for me, as a coach, I would like to keep like even though I prefer just keeping experience. At the same time, I would just be worried about like how many players are keeping us from getting to the next level because I look at the league right now and we have to evolve and keeping a lot of these players we've already keeping a handful already and considering to try and extend a few more, so it's up in the air. But for me, if it was up to me, I will bring her back, but of course you have to think about the future ahead.
I want to ask you the same thing, Andresa, Jorge.
No, yeah, I think Andros knocked it up off the park, right? You know, a very passionate player, another player that's played and represented for Brazil, and I think it's just great to, you know, she'd come in late or play early and you know just give all that she could for that time. But yeah, you do have to think about the future. If they pick up that option year, maybe they just keep it at that. And if anything, right, they can always just renegotiate something.
Yep.
I'm the GM, Andresa. Here's what I'm doing. I've already signed a bunch of players. You're one of these players that I've kind of got on the cusp. I'm not sure what I need to do, so I'm going to hire my GM. I'm going to hire my coach, and we're going to see if you fit in their mold of what we're trying to build with this team, and then we would like to discuss your option at a further date. I'm letting you know now so that you can further look out and see if you find something. If you find something you'd like to do, I'll decline your option and you can move on and we'll be happy with this. But if you don't mind, please give us time. Obviously in a business way, but they could do that, or they just, like you said, straight up decline it, which they have not done. So I'm going to they're doing the waiting factor, and then somebody else needs to make a decision if she can be a role player. Her passion does need to calm down a little bit with the aggressiveness towards other players. She's getting in moments where she's given up on a play because she lost the ball or thought she got fouled. And I can't stand that because, you can get up and still be a part of something and win that ball back and get it back. But all right. I relax, man, because and the rest of the week you'll probably be here all friggin' day. All right. I got two quickies for you both. And I don't know if they're too quick or not, but Andres Havana Salon is a saloon or salon or whatever is a free agent.
So yeah.
Yeah, let her go or bring her back.
It's tough because she's coming back from a knee injury, and just going back to what I said about those spots being valuable in the roster. Like it's we're giving a lot of chance to a lot of players that we like, and we just have to consider what's ahead. So like if it was for because of me, I would say no because we have to get to the next level. We have to give opportunities to players that have been playing, or just bring someone in new. So it's kind of harsh, but that's the reality.
No, it's the business, and we've seen enough of her. She's been with the team for at least 3 years now, or 2.5 years, or whatever it's been. So we know what we got out of her. Yes, we let her go. We use that roster spot for another player. Our roster spots are valuable right now because we do have so many players returning to the team as well. So, Jorge Bell Breed, who we did get to see a lot of it towards the end of the season here, but she is now also a free agent.
Yeah, I think just it's all very harsh, right? But it is a business. I think you just move on. You know, just a player you mentioned, Salon. I think I think it's time, and yeah, you are bringing back a lot of players, and they are very valuable those roster spots. So I think you know you just split
Right.
ways.
Yeah, and I'm going to agree with you here too. I didn't see enough of her when she did play on the field, so it's kind of one of those like, can I improve in this spot? And I think I can. So yeah, we're gonna let her go. Now this is probably one of my most favorite players for the season, and the way she played and how she plays. And again, this is another player that plays with her heart, plays with her badge, plays with her shirt. It's Avery Patterson, man, and I just love what Avery Patterson's doing. She's got 2 more years with us, so she's not going nowhere, man. Key vital piece in my eyes, Andres. Do you agree with that statement?
100%. And she might even be a starter next year because of how well she's been playing it in the second half of the year. So, and she's been bowling out when we needed her the most. And she's been, you could say that she's been driving the attack 80% of the time. So it's incredible how she's been playing, and she definitely, if she earns her starting spot, it's well deserved. So hopefully we'll see her next year bowl out like what we've seen her.
Jorge, we have another one that's here for 2 more years, and I don't know what to do with this player. But again, it depends on what style you end up choosing with. I got an idea with the style I would go with currently right now, but Michelle Lalosi. What do you do with her, man? 2 years left on her contract.
No, yeah, it's just it depends on where she fits with the next coach because she can play that fullback position. She can play that winger spot. You know, that's that's a player, another international player, right? Um,
Yep.
it all just depends. Just her finding her moments, right? But
Yeah.
definitely, more than likely, he's going to be a starter, and I mean, she's shown what she can do, right?
I'm curious. More than likely to be a starter. So, guys, we'll come back to that later on in the show. But more than likely to be a starter. All right, man. So, Andreas, relax, grab a towel, whatever you need. Because we're going to start moving to the attack.
That's the only other answer.
Again, the only one besides Heather Hens was the only one, but those players that we played videos for this one are key players to me that'll be crucial to this lineup next season, I believe. So that's why I played Barb. To me, I have an idea how I'll use Barb, but Andreas, man, Barb Olivieri is here for 2 more years as well. I don't even have to ask you a question. Just go ahead. Drool.
I mean, gotta love
it.
Yeah, I mean, gotta love it. I don't have to say anything else other than the fact that she's been contributing as much as possible this year, and she closed out the year with 4 consecutive goal contributions, and she's been bowling out ever since. Even drawing penalties, man, and which is something that the team hasn't been doing a lot, and stepping over Diana Ordonez, I'm gonna talk about her later on, but it's just like she's been stepping up a lot whenever we wanted her to be, and yeah, she's been incredible. So she's gonna be a starter next year.
All right, well, segue, Jorge, Diana Ordonez. And before I'll let you hold on a second. So I've segued into Ordonez, but I think Olivieri is going to be very crucial. And if I was playing with this team right now, it'd be a 4-4-2. She'd be playing my right forward or playing on that right side up high. I want her up higher. I don't want her as a cam because she gets forward and she knows she attacks. She likes to score goals. She doesn't like to assist. So I'd prefer her as a right forward. Now I revert back. Diana Ordonez, who is also here for 1 more year. She's got 1 more year on her contract. She had a very good rookie year in North Carolina. And this past year with a dash was just kind of like, well, what the heck? What Ordonez did we get? Remember, we started off with now I can't even remember her name. This was our her striker and her running mate at the beginning of the season, Ebony Salmon. So that's kind of how that season's
Yeah.
gone. But Deanna Ordonez, Jorge.
No, yeah, definitely a striker for for what she has. You know, her height, being able to try and find the goal. I mean, I think she's got the great physicality for it. Easy target to find. It's just about defining, right? But definitely a starter, and you know I've seen her drop down as well defensively. So maybe that's something that the next coach would like.
All depends on what style we decide to go with. All right, man. Andres, let's move on into the returnee from her pregnancy as well. She came back. She's looking as quick as ever, and that's Ryan Gary's. She is here for one more year. Role player, pushing for starter. Where you got her at this point with this roster?
Like, we all like her, and of course she's been coming out of maternity leave and all that. And heading into next year, she's gonna have to earn that spot because it's already been a while. And the game she played this year already, there's been some flashes, but as far as things are right now, I feel like she's gonna have to earn it more than anything. So I look forward to see her play next year and see how she fits. But for now, she's gonna have to earn it.
Yeah, I agree, and I would like her to come off the bench, either on the left wing or as a left forward sometimes, just to, we're maybe down a goal and we're having trouble in gaining possession or whatever, and you just use her speed to just kind of open up the field a little bit more and spread that defense out some, and try to help the attack win more possession and win possession, press better. But I think she can be a valuable piece, but as a role player. So we'll see. We'll see. Man, this one, you know what? Actually, I'll give this one back to Andres. But um, so, Jorge, Kiki Van Zetten, season-ending injury, is a free agent. She's versatile, good in the attack, but new regime coming in. What do you do with Kiki Van Zetten?
I think she showed great flashes early in the season, right? And it's very unfortunate that you lose a player so early into the season. So it's very hard to judge. But I think she got along very well with the squad. I mean, I would bring her back, but I don't know. It just depends because she can also play. She's very quick as well. I think she could play fullback.
Yep.
Or even the wing would be great.
So versatile. So it's just new regime's got to look at and see where she can fit in, and if she does fit in, and do we have the roster spots still left over that we need to go out and get those players that we want as well. So I think that's what's going to come into play right there. It's going to be more logistics than her. She obviously is a good player. So can we take the risk on her because we don't know if we're getting her back to the same type of player with that foot injury? But whatever. All right, I say this one for you because I got to hear her name every friggin' game from you. Sorry, Andreas, but Yuki Nagasato, and I like her. She just got a lot of starts that I didn't think that I thought could have gone in other directions sometimes, but. Man, you love her. She's got one more year contract. The fans love her. She's vocal on social media as well. So, I mean, I love her too. But, stay on the bench a little bit sometimes. But Yuki Nagasato, man.
Just coming off the bench will be incredible because the games she has been playing, and even some of the games that she started, she was just playing lights out sometimes, and
And as a
fans like her
forward.
for a reason. Not
Yeah.
as a forward, and a lot of fans have been liking her not just because she because of those flashes, but also because she's just very charismatic and gets along well with fans. So if she and for the next year, I just hope she does that. And like I said before, like depending on who we bring in, I just hope like we start bringing in some like younger players, like some of the faster players that are gonna move play for Houston all over because that's what we need right now. Someone that's just able to provide, and just having Yuki Nagasato there like on the team especially coming off the bench, will be pretty big, especially what we try to do over the course of the year.
All right, Jorge, we got 2 left right here, but this one I was kind of surprised at. I have her as a free agent. She did not get in an extension on her rookie contract, but Amanda West, who also finished the season on the injury list. But still,
Yeah,
does it go back to the logistics again?
Yeah, I think she's one of those players where you just gotta move on from her. She's a free agent.
Yeah, because she's definitely playing a position that I want to improve in. So yeah, it's probably one of those where I might have to let her go, and she didn't get to show enough throughout the season, anyways, to keep. All right, and this person, yes, still exists under the Dash payroll. I'm not sure the exact date her contract ends, but she is on loan still. Is Paulina Gramaglia. She does not need to return to Houston because her loan ends and her contract ends. So she has not been with the team for 2 years. So I think the obvious answer is they're just going to let her go. She did play 13 games this season and scored 6 goals. So not a lot of games, but a good goal ratio. Paulina Gramaglia.
Yeah, I still remember her from a couple of years ago, but just haven't heard of her at all. So, and I'm glad that she's able to get a lot more playing time for what she was doing for the national team, but at the same time, it's kind of like we're just gonna have to move on. So,
yeah, I think this is an easy one. I liked her physique. I like what she could do, but last year she didn't get to play at all. This year she's only played in 13 games. I don't know what their season's like in Brazil. That's where she's at. But so whatever. So yeah, this is another one. I need the roster spot. Sorry, you got to go unless you just are a straight up beast in those 13 games. And it's been the last 13 games in the last 13 weeks that she's played or whatever. And all of a sudden, she's turning out. So I don't know. But obviously she's gone. So now I want to move into the next part. And this is probably going to get a little elaborated, but y'all give me your answer and then we'll move on. You'll both get to answer this. But now we move into the GM and coach discussion. And Jessica Neal's still here. She still has a job. She has a big job ahead of her. Ted Siegel has been in Houston a lot recently, and obviously they are working. They've admitted to not accepting applications. Well, yeah, accepting applications and going over them. They're both looking for a GM and they're looking for a coach. I think they're looking more aggressively for that GM first, and then that GM will help decide who the coach will be. What direction do you think they need to go in? Is it the same direction they went in looking for Fran Alonso? First off, obviously you need a GM, but you're telling the GM this is the same style I kind of want to work around and build around, or do you go out and just find the GM that fits best for your business model that you're projected for the Dash?
it's gonna have to be GM first and foremost.
Well, yeah, it's definitely GM first. So, I guess let me ask it a different. The GM that you're looking for? Do you look to stay in the style that you've been directed in, where you had Alex Singer, she went and hired Fran Alonso into this attacking style, aggressive style of play, or do you change your idea and your perspective, or you just read the applications and you just see the names that are coming in through the application market, let's just call it LinkedIn or whatever, and find the best option for you, whether that means we have to change our play. This GM's obviously going to fit with the players also that are on this roster too. But you can go in any direction. Do they stay in the same direction they've been going, or do they look for something different? Do they take the best available off the board? It's kind of like they have a draft right now.
It's a little bit of a headache because we're already keeping some players that the next GM may or may not fit into their own specific style play. So
pull your
it's a little
application
more
out.
complicated. Right. but yeah, even though it will be okay to just keep an open mind when it comes to trying to apply something new, you still have those players that foundation to see what you can build upon. So it'll be ideal if you're bringing someone that or at least you're bringing someone that you want to, or execute your own plan. But of course, it's a big risk heading into next year because I'm assuming next year is gonna be okay, Jessica, you're gonna be out if you are out of playoffs again, and nothing turns out correctly. So it's a big risk for her and whoever comes in. So it's a big call.
I agree. She needs to hit this one on the mark as far as the GM and the coach goes, because of what we've gone through. The 4 coaches, 2 GMs in the past 3-4 years, or 3 years or whatever. But so obviously Jessica needs to hit this GM on the mark. But I asked you the same question: Are you sifting, Jorge? Are you sifting through the applications, and when you're interviewing these people, and you just like this person, and it may be not be the same style that you've been looking for. What do you think the Dash should do? What do you think Jessica O'Neill should do? Keep her options open, just keep where she's been going, and just find the right piece in that field.
Yeah, I think it just depends, right? Although it might cost you your job, um, right? I think the GM you definitely have to hit on the spot, but I would want somebody that would fit the play style or with the players that are still on the roster, right? I don't think you can really flip play style and then expect all the players to execute their role. It's just very tough. It's very complex, but you also, I mean, it'd be great to have like a big name GM, right? That knows what they're doing, but you also have to try and give everybody a chance and just bet on yourself.
I hope we're not betting on our GM, and I hope that we are hiring the person that has built a resume and is established and has done that. Either we're stealing this person from another obviously, and not obviously. Either we're either probably stealing this person from another team, or this person just left that team and is in the market and available. Is what I'm thinking has to be the play. You can't just bring somebody in and take a chance at this moment when you're 1 year in your history of the team you've made the playoffs, and that one game you lost in front of a sellout crowd in your own stadium. So, Jessica, yes, your job is a hot seat and your job is on the mark. I'm sure somebody that listens to this tells you what we say, and I know Jessica knows this. Whatever, it's all cool. This is what we do. We report it. We keep it real. But you are on the hot seat, and you do need to hit this GM, and you do need to hit this head coach, because, like Andrea said, if your team doesn't show the stability and the consistency to run through the next season, and the needles continuing to go up, maybe you miss the playoffs, maybe you don't make, or maybe you do make the playoffs, but depending on how the season goes is where you might have got the GM and you might have got the coach in, but you're still missing the mark, blah blah blah. But I would like the GM, man, to come in and just be the best fit resume that's out there. That GM brings the coach in. I think that this roster right here has a 4-4-2 mentality formation, which means you can go in any direction and how you want to build a playing style off of that formation. So I think it's feasible. I think Fraud came in here and tried to change too much too quick, and it was too hard for the girls to learn. They're professionals. They know how to play soccer, but you went from a defensive team and you tried to turn them into an offensive team, and you missed the transition in between. And then Franz and Holland still pretends to be sick. Sorry, that's me just saying pretends, by the way, y'all. He just ran and hid in the closet. Instead of coming out and fighting. But obviously the man had a medical or something to go on, so I'm just cracking jokes, but they're obviously not true. They're just just jokes. But all right. So GM, you've hired your GM now, man. So your coach. What do you do with your coach, Jorge? What do you do with your coach? You've got your GM in now. I think we're going with a name GM with a nice resume. Now you're bringing your coach in. Is there anything we can do here? Is there anything we can say here that could maybe put the fans at ease that are impatiently waiting?
No, yeah, I mean, definitely you'd want a coach that knows what he's doing, right? I mean, look at Gotham right now.
Remind us. Okay, thanks. Hey, no. So I can see Mark now from Generation Orange is having a fit right now. And she's like, dude, Juan Carlos didn't want to be here, so that's why he's in Gotham. But yes, he is a good example of what he did to that team. Brought them from last to first, defending champions, still in the playoffs currently.
No, yeah, I think like they got him all the way from overseas as well, right? And from Spurs women, if I'm not mistaken. And he came
Yeah.
in with a great idea, and you know, what took the Dash to the only playoff that they've ever been, and
Yep.
unfortunate of the result, like you mentioned earlier, in the sold out crowd. I was there at that game as a fan. I mean, and to see all those fans pull out or come out to a Dash game is impressive, and the style of play that they had. So definitely, you'd want a coach that's experienced and has the perfect mentality or play style for this team that is currently on the Dash roster.
I agree real quick, and then Andreas, I'll let you follow up. I think we need a coach that's an established coach, first off. We've gone through so many coaches, so we don't need to take a chance on a coach as well either. We need to hire somebody that's stable, that first off is a locker room coach that players like, whether this be a female or a male coach. Just somebody that is I kind of like Ricky Clark's personality and his vibe. So if it could be somebody with his character and just a built resume and someone's stable, I think we can turn this team around, and you can jump to where you're on that cusp of the playoffs next year, coming off the wooden spoon, because this team did show what they can do and they can play some soccer. They just man, it's just a tough season. But so Andres, your thoughts?
Yeah, it's gonna come down to experience and someone that's well established in the game that someone know, like a lot of people know. And for me, one of the names that has been hovering over my head is just Twila Kilgore, a former Dash assistant that also was coaching for the national team as an assistant, but also recently just left. I don't think she's gonna be coaching the Dash, although it would be pretty amazing if they were able to pull it off. But we're just gonna need someone with experience, man. We've already been saying over and over again, like how many times we've been missing playoffs, how many times we've been missing the mark, and really every time something was working in our favor, it was just coming down and down, down, down. And this year, prime example, of course, coaching situation changed, but it's part of the club's history too. Like just the amount of times, just the amount of failures that we have as a whole. So we just need someone that's just able to steer the ship, man.
All right. Moving on to the kind of, as we're getting here to the end of the episode, I kind of wanted y'all start in 11, but we're going to cut that out. I do kind of want to know with this team, because I did ask you before this show started, so I know you do kind of have an answer. With this roster that you currently have, knowing that you're going to go out there looking for players, man, what form, I'll start with you, Jorge. What formation are you putting this current team in? And if it helps,
Very tough.
I'll just make it simple, because I've given hints out the entire time, the entire show. I'm simple, not simple. I've played different formation and coached different formations, but with this team right here, I like this 4-4-2. Bachman on the left, Patterson on the right. You got a Dion Ordonez playing the left forward. You got a Barbara Oliveri playing that right forward. Barbara Oliveri's pushing and stretching that side of the defense. You have Bachman doing the same on the far left. You have Patterson doing, what she's doing on the right side. Ordonez is sitting there in the middle, ready to receive and ready to take everything that's been created off of those others. You have a Sophie Schmidt, Puntengam, and Rubinson all rotating right there in the middle as our two CDMs. So there's your two center back, or your two center mids, and then of course you got Nelson, Jacobs, Tarsi, and Lind is my back four, with obviously Campbell starting. So I got a 4-4-2. You can adjust and move to a 4-3-3 through the future, but I think you start with a 4-4-2, and then you can evolve into your particular coaching style and how this team plays. But I think you start easy, transition from the 4-4-2 to whatever it is that you decide that you would like to use with this team. But that's what I think. But so formation, and if that helped you answer your question or the question.
No, yeah, I think 4-3-3 is traditional in the current game,
Yep.
but with the way that I see the dash play, what would be great for the dash would be a 4-2-3-1.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have your target striker like Diana Ordonez. You can have your two flanks running, whether it's Ryan Garris or Alozi or Kiki or whoever it may be, right? Playing those flanks, or Avery Patterson for say, right? Um, I guess kind of breaking down my starting 11. But Barbara Oliveri in the middle behind Diana would be great. And then I think how I see Sophie Schmidt and Puntigam, I play them in that in the CDM spots. They could be a double pivot, and you already have a solid backline. So I think a 4-2-3-1 would be a great model. Obviously, I'm not a coach, and it's just an opinion, but I think that would be great for the Dash. Maybe transitioning to that 4-5-1 or a 4-4-2.
You earlier in the show, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, you said Alozi as a starter, but you didn't name her right there. Where does Alozi fit into your lineup? Backing up Patterson, backing up Ordonez as a forward. I know she's not going back to defense, and we definitely don't need her there, but she wants to play offense.
I mean, that's pretty tough.
So she's on the bench coming off as a role player.
Man, I want to say yes because of her speed, just like how you mentioned Ryan Garris could be, a good spark to come off late into the game and help push the offense. And she does play defense as well. Well, she drops down, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, she could be a role player.
And then get her, spot starts or whatever. All right, Andres, with you, same thing. How are you putting this team right now, currently, the way this roster is built?
I really like the 4-2-3-1 formation that George just said, and also yours, because the one thing that really annoyed me this year was just the lack of service as a whole, and just leaving Diana Ordonez on an island, like on the middle, whenever we just square the ball, see what happens, and it's just that at times, without considering every time they were able to break through, because either the other team mishandled the ball and we intercepted it. Like for us, it was just like a matter of chance, and we just need to continue service. I feel like we have a good defense to not worry about. But as of right now, with like the roster that we have, assuming most of these players are still in part of the plans, then we just need to put more players forward. And when George mentioned that 4-2-3-1, I really like the idea of having more service, and Alosi especially, like Alosi just mentioned. I feel like she can definitely be plugged in as a like not on the wings, like on the sides, and she'll be able to provide more. But then again, like we have like the issue with the 4-4-2 that maybe would drop back a little bit more. Obviously covering for potentially Barbara, assuming that's gonna be the case. But yeah, a lot of things to consider. But yeah, we just need more goals.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting. And like I said, my 4-4-2 can evolve into anything, to a 4-3-3, to the 4-2-3-1. It's very transitional. It just depends on how you want to do it. Do you want to defend in the 4-4-2? Do you want to, it's very, and y'all's formations can be very transitional as well. So it's again, it all depends on who this coach is that comes in and what they want to do. But that's just, guys, fans that are listening, that's just to let you know that there are variations and there are options, and these players can do it and can execute it. Now, where can we improve this roster? Are they starters, or is it just going to be filling in the roster to make them bench players? For me, I'll be quick, is I think we need to go out and find a very versatile striker. You've seen the NWSL, the type of strikers there are out there, whether it be Sophie Schmidt or Awadande, who just was just playing against it, and then that damn girl from Orlando that's just a friggin' beast, is just creative game changers, and it doesn't matter what minute mark it is during the game. You get them the ball in space, they're going to make something. They're going to do something dangerous. I think that's the kind of striker that we need to go out and find. I'd like to have some right back help, maybe a starter and right back out there, and then we'll see what goes on with the rest of the lineup. But as far as Ryan Gary's playing left, Alozi playing right, but I think we just can build with the rest being stable veteran players that can fill in. So, Andres, where can you improve the roster? Do you go find a starter? What position? Or are you just filling in the bench with experienced players? Or taking chances on rookies from college, obviously?
No more rookies, please. Like we already have enough, and we can probably just find more, especially without the new.
I just asked for one on the internet yesterday.
But man, like whenever I see last year, whenever I saw like Banda, Chawinga, they smoked our defense, and I was just so pissed because this is the type of player that we need. We just need someone that's just gonna change the game for us, and those type of players are the ones who's gonna run through, beat your defenders, and just put in the back of the net. And not only do we need this for more goals, but this is gonna put the Arduinos in notice essentially, and it's just gonna be
as well.
like good all together. And yeah, like that's the type of player that we need. Game changer probably as an attacking midfielder. You could argue that, but for me, it's just gonna be like a striker. Like this is gonna be put us in the next level.
All right, Coach DFTV, what are you doing? Or GM DFTV?
It's a tough one. I've mentioned it a couple times already. I think we all have the defense is solid. You don't have to worry about that. Your fullbacks are spot in my opinion, right? Man, I think midfield, Deanna, or some healthy pressure for Deanna would be great as well. But I think the midfield, I think you slightly have to go younger. Puntigan and Sophie Schmidt, over 30, slightly over 30, right? Andressa over 30 as well.
Zoe
I think
Matthews, 17.
Yeah. I think
Plays
you bring
plays
in
their position.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great thing. Well, it depends, right? Whether it's a great thing or not, in your
Right.
opinion. No more draft, so you can just go out and sign players. And I think that's good for this in this scenario. The dash, you no longer have to draft a rookie because you're filled with them. But I'd probably want like maybe a marquee signing. Somebody, you drop some, you open up the bank account or empty check for a midfielder that can give that service. Help out Barbara Oliveri or Diana.
Yeah. There is a player out there that is in college that is very ideal to the attack. Pushes the ball around, scores golossos all the time, does the corner kicks, does the free kicks, set pieces, gets the assist, wins the awards, best player on the team past 4 years at the University of Texas, and that's Lexi Missimo. Now, again, I know y'all don't like college players, but she's one of those elite players that you do go after, and that's the person I think would fit the mold, and that's the person I mentioned, Andres. Yesterday, I asked on Twitter for the Houston Dash to look at and go after, and Lexi Missimo, who is a Southeastern Conference champion, who I'm sorry, Ryan Garys, I'm sorry, Jalissa Harris, I'm sorry, Heather Hens. Y'all came in second, but hook 'em horns, it was a proud moment. But so now we move on to the NCAAs. But Lexi Missimo is just one that, and it's a cam position, would be a great addition in my eyes. But I don't know the transition to the NWSL. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm with you. I think we all agree on its attacking pieces. Defense is going to be set. So we'll see where we go. We just need that GM. We need to hire that coach. Hopefully we'll hear something soon. Hopefully we'll hear roster decisions soon as well. Dynamo already released theirs. So Dash, when's your roster decision? So we're waiting to hear from you. As listeners, you do know you've already passed your deadline, Jessica O'Neill, for giving us answers. So we need to hear it. Just because we talked to you in person the other night doesn't mean those were our answers, because they technically weren't our answers. We just talked to you for a minute, asked you if you're going to Disneyland, and you said no. Got to get to work. But hey, it's time to let us know something. It is time to let us know something. So and the what's the GM's name? Not the GM, the technical advisor's name. Andres.
Paulo Peñones Arce.
He was in public, even though he didn't talk to the fans. He did sit in public at the last game. So I've been asking for him to come out in public for Context DFTV and say something to the fans, but he never does. He just you may see him walk on the field or whatever. But, man, I digress. We're an hour and 8 minutes into this show. And as always, I just want to say thank y'all for listening or watching. Hopefully you're watching on Foxtrot TV. If you're listening, you're on all other platforms pretty much. You know how to find us. You know where to see us. We appreciate some comments on Twitter. If we don't hit us back, hit us up again and say, hey, I'm not hearing from you yet. But DFTV, man, thank you for joining us. Tell the people where to find you, where all your outlets are. If you want to give a shout out to any of your people in your group, maybe David, I guess, or a shit on. Nah, shit. Nah.
No, yeah. You can find us on all social media as DynamoFanTV. I do have Project Dash, which does need a lot of work, some more focus on. Maybe need to expand on there a little bit more because Dash is a great organization and they do have great players that have potential to be key in this league. But yeah, we want to give a shout out to my whole team. Shout out to all the media outlets here, the local media outlets here in Houston that do cover the Dash because you don't have to, but you do. And yeah, thank you for the space and letting me be on here.
Yeah, man, anytime. Well, hopefully we can continue to do it during the off season as news starts popping up and throughout the season. Just a guest here and there to pop on, and then that goes out. You can send anybody in your team. It's not just Dash, it's Dynamo as well. So DFTV is always welcome in here. Andres, man, the fans kind of know what's going on and where we're at, but once you remind them where they can find all us, and then let's just get the hell out of here.
Yeah, man, and Twitter or X, as you want to call it, at Noodle Tiempo, at Dynamic Foxtrot. Also on Instagram, we're at Dynamic Foxtrot. And I mean, you said it yourself. We're pretty much on all the other platforms when it comes to video, audio. But yeah, guys, give us a comment, give us some feedback. We'd love to hear what you guys think in the off season. Let it be Dash or Dynamo. And yeah, it's gonna be a busy one.
Looking for it, brother. Looking forward to it. Hey, thank y'all. We'll see y'all. And that means H is up. We'll see you on the other side. Ah, that jersey.